Hello. How you doing? It's Polyphonic SEM Day. Something that's not supposed to be possible, but we can make possible with Unify. We got all the knobs. That filter is just beautiful. Isn't that cool? Anyway, so things look a little bit different. My camera, you know how they say don't add extensions to your computer when it's working, and I added the ability to use my iPhone. So this is actually video coming from my little iPhone. And by doing so, it killed the HDMI input to the PCIe card on my computer. So, oh, and then the video just stopped. So let me see here what's going on. Get back to there like this. Hello? Droid cam, don't let me down. Okay, we might not have visuals today. I don't know what's, there it is. Okay, so just turn it off and on if it does that. Anyway, hello, I'm John Limcool, hanging on by my fingernails to keep this happening. Hope you're doing well. Let's see, that's not gonna work, so gotta get this. Is that better? Yeah, that'll work. As long as I don't play too frenetically, right? So, oh, that's not the right view I want. Okay, well, and I can actually do this. We can zoom this in, limit this a little bit. Oh, the joys of technology, my friends. The joys of technology never ends. And go like this and make this just a little bit bigger. There, all right. Hello. Welcome. I'm glad to see you all. I'm going to give you guys, we'll see if this makes it an hour. I'm thinking we're going to do live streams from now on about an hour in length. The 90 minutes, that's just a lot of work. It's an awful lot of work to keep everything to going. Of course, I'll say that and we'll end up going 2 hours, but you know, that's just how it is around here. So anyway, time for emojis. Yeah. I'm supposed to turn on super chat and all that stuff. So yeah, I know, hooray for OBS. Yeah, I went from version 24 to 27. And it did something to mess up my HDMI input. So, hey, what you gonna do? So I sent out an emailer just now to everybody. So thanks to those of you that are joining. So this week was kind of a cool week. We had a new synthesizer, which is a eighth of a slice of an existing synthesizer, right? GForce software. Let's see. Let's go over here to GForce software.com. They have, as we have seen in the past, the OBE. Well, they have broken it down. Think of this like the way that Yuhi has done Repro 1 and Repro 5. Repro 5 being a Prophet 5, Repro 1 being the monophonic version. So if we init and go over here to our GForce software, we have first the OBE, which is a seriously wonderful synthesizer. It's received the endorsement thumbs up, and I don't know if they partnered and worked on this or not, but they did partner up to work on SEM. But now each of these boxes is a voice, and the cool thing with the 8 voice is that each one could be a completely different sound if you wanted, or a subtly different sound, things like that, which gives it all sorts of capabilities. We've unified this library. It is in our database. It's wonderful. Sounds great. Like if I was to take one of these and bring up resonance on this one and this one, every now and then you hear this resonance. If I mess up the pitch of a couple of these like drastically in different ways, you can get some crazy stuff because it's truly 8 voices and it's cycling through the voices. Now, what in Unify do we have that can cycle through voices? So anyway, let me show you and then we'll get to the fun stuff. Go over here to GForce Software SEM, Synthesizer Expansion Module. This is one of those 8 boxes inside of SEM with the killer filter, with the third oscillator for and it's nice, very, very nice. It sounds good, don't fix it. Anyway, there's 400 plus patches in it. They have an amazing deal. If you own SEM, I believe it's under $20 to get this. Otherwise, I think it's $29 right now. And then $49 retail. Let me confirm. Find out more. No, we want to go to products. Yeah, it's $29.99 in pounds. And I think in US, I think it's also $30 or so. But basically what this is you can collapse this down to just be kind of like, if you look at, or familiar with Oberhausen, it's, you know, this is the SEM kind of look, the square thing. But if you extend it, you get to the additional parameters that are available. There's also a sequencer, which has a step sequencer into it. So if you hit the little expander right here, it will open up the added sequencer parameters, which includes seek. So if I was to modify this, and if you hit seek, or I'm sorry, if you hit record and then play, it will cycle whatever you... Okay, so now when I play one note, and then over here you have your effects, which you can turn off. And it's got a really, really great, I mean, it sounds pretty legit to me. Right? So it's not much to complain about as far as the synth engine and the patches. It's great. Download the demo if you want to test it out for yourself, but it's really good. Hello, Netherlands. Oh, it comes to $25. Okay. All right, so now we have unified this, and so it is available, as you can see, as a unified library. We've kept the first 50 inside of SEM. When you hit the load button, that gives you the patch loading page. They have what they call their alpha presets, which is 50, kind of go through the library, see what it has to offer. So we kept those up to 50. And then after that, we put categories and organized everything. Thank you, Taylor, for assisting in that process. But and you have all your knobs here. Right? You can go over here to Unify layer and add additional patches to this. Add more. Pretty cool. Sounds great. What I love and a good test of a synthesizer is when you have more than one sound coming from that same synth in a track, and how individualized and kind of its own identity instead of things kind of like having a similar footprint. This passes that test with flying colors. Really nice. Okay, so you can play with it all that way as the monophonic synth, but if you get down the list, all these that have hearts, like if you see Lyle, oh, here, let me set just a normal load and say Lyle, and now their factory version has a slow attack. You know, I listen to Lyle May's tracks inside of Pat Metheny songs, and they don't have a slow attack. So Lyle down here, I sped up the attack, and I made it polyphonic as well. So you can play it polyphonically thanks to our cycle. We kind of have a thing like the cycling they're doing inside of OBE, and I actually get a little bit more carried away than they can because we have a lot of different modes. We have the size of the pool being actually up to 16. I'm going to give you guys a tutorial in a minute on how to make any of the monophonic synths polyphonic, okay? Because that's one of the cool blessings with Unify, is that it does have this ability, and it's kind of fun to take things like this. Maybe you want to personalize this and do some things. So if you called up one of these polyphonic patches, actually, let's do it this way. Let's go over here, go to the standard library, and in the T's, you will find templates. And I've made templates for all sorts of different things Unify can do. And some of these you can see are polyphonic from mono. So this is the template patch that is all set up. Let's start here, and then I'll show you with existing patches. But with this polyboxes here, there's one Guru sampler. It's already got the routing set up, so that all you have to do is change the plugin to whatever you want it to be. And so if we go down here to GForce Audio, and we say SEM, find the patch we want to, let's go next for a little bit. That'd be really nice to play polyphonically, wouldn't it? Okay. I don't need to change anything else to start with. All I need to do is bypass the polybox and go over here to the little bullet for layer 1 and say, let me see, open up polybox really quick. It's set for 4. I'm going to change this because I want it to be 8 voice polyphonic. So by doing that, I would go over here and I would say duplicate it 7 times because there's 1 here existing. If I kept it at 4, I would use the duplicate 3 times. But by doing this, what it does is it makes 7 additional copies of SEM with the same patch as number 1, and it advances the MIDI channel for each layer. So now, I can play it polyphonically. And if you're in a DAW, just start writing now. You don't have to do anything else. Save your song. This will all be saved. If you want to save this for future call-up of something that you like, you can go over here to save, put it, say to the user library and say SEM, Poly, Synth, Bright, Saw, or whatever you want to call it, right? As you can see in the comments for this patch, let's go save as and save. If you hit the save button, it will open up the comment window where you can read the detailed steps that I just showed you in text form to do this, right? So by doing this, you can take any patch and make it polyphonic from a monophonic source. There's free monophonic synths, like VK1 is a really cool synth. As I pointed out, Repro 1 from Uhi is monophonic, and SEM is monophonic. And this will let you do this. Now, once you've done this and you've got the patch, let's say I want to change this some. We made a shortcut. If you just click init, it will erase everything. Layer 1 is back to the sine wave. You know, everything is off, right? But if you hold down Option or Alt on your computer and then click init, it does something different. Hold down Option, Alt, click init. It keeps all the MIDI effects, whatever they were. It keeps master effects. It removes everything else but layer 1. It keeps layer 1 the way it was. So I'm kind of back at the beginning of that poly from mono patch. So all I have to do is hit the bypass on Polybox, open up SEM, modify it however I want. Let's say I want to have a longer release, so I bring up decay. Oh, this patch might not be set up. Huh. Well, let's say I want to have a start darker, more of a growth. I like that. Have sustain up. However you want to set it up. I'm going to change my delays. I want a longer reverb. Close this, then go back here, and all I have to do is bypass Polybox. Go back here and say dupe 7. And now that patch is duplicated. Right? Pretty cool. So that's how you can use Polybox to turn SEM into a polyphonic synthesizer. If I wanted to, if I hold down Option or Alt and click init, if I open Polybox and I set it to 16, I am now going to make it do 15 duplications. And now I have a 16 voice SEM patch. So if you need to play more than 8 voices, I have 16 layers. And because it's multiprocessor, as you can see, everybody's just happily playing along. You know, so it's pretty cool. Now, we've had questions. I had a couple people ask about this. So let me show you. They don't set up vibrato or anything really to the modulation wheel by default, but it's easy to set up. If you open up SEM, right here, there's a vibrato area. All you have to do is hit the little CC button right here. Click on amount, which I'd done already. And we're back. Hello. Anyway, you click that little. So to get vibrato to work, you would go to, let's see, GForce SEM. I'm not sure who's the culprit there. Hit CC, click 1, move. Okay. Here. I'm going to be really risky just to see what happens here. Let's call up SEM outside of Unify and see if this is a SEM Unify related or else this is just something in SEM. So let's go over here, hit CC. Let's actually clear. So if you hit clear, it clears the mappings, but you would click the vibrato, move modulation wheel, turn off CC, and now your mod wheel. I don't know why it's having that problem doing that in Unify, but we will let GForce know and figure out why it's doing that, because it shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, so let's look at SEM one more for a second more. So let's go over here to the Unify GForce SEM. Some of these bonus patches, these sweet patches, are really, really fun. Their shaping and stuff. That filter is so nice. And then on top of this, I'm using, I gave you guys a couple bonus patches beyond these. There's 24, I think, that are monophonic patches turned polyphonic. The brass, because brass are just great to play polyphonically and they sound. There's just a really nice bright presence to the SEM plugin. They did a really nice job on that. But at the bottom of the list, I made a couple wave sequence patches, which is where it's calling up. This is very, very similar to Polybox being used for polyphony. If I was to bypass Polybox and instead of this being like, maybe it'd work. Let's see, what would I do to make this polyphonic? Mono, just like that. And now I'm playing each of the layers with whatever is going on in them, because some of them are sequence things. But by setting this to the chord setting like this, where you can play chords and it will re-trigger that way and it resets. The AR means auto reset. I can now put a sequencer in front of Polybox, and instead of playing all at once, what it does is each time it gets a new note, it advances to the next MIDI channel. So So now I have sequencing. And you can build from this and do all your fun, usual, crazy fun stuff. Use this in a track. And just so happens, right here is another wave sequence patch where I did just that. I took it just a little bit farther. Just added a few things here and there to give it additional extra personality. Right? Sounds great. All sorts of fun stuff. We've got knobs set up for the mix. All the way to off. This is using the MIDI enable that is available per layer inside of our knob controls. So when you click over here to the bullet, every single layer when you go to instrument has right here MIDI enable. Also MIDI toggle if you're going to assign this to a switch that wants to go off and on. But if it's a controller that's sending continuous data, then you want to use MIDI enable. And you can set up things like this where different sounds come on and off at different times. So this way there's nothing on, no drums, just the kick and snare, just hi-hats. Everybody. And then wave sequence and then the drone are separated, so you just want the synth. Parts that just sit there, you know? Or the wave sequence. And the wave sequence, because it has a MIDI effect playing it, it's immediately on and off as soon as it hits its threshold. It's not one of those that does a note retrigger. So you can use this for cool ways to like start and stop in the middle of phrases. That's fine. Let's turn that one note up. And maybe I want that to be a whole different synthesizer. All I have to do is swap. Let's go to Cherry Audio and make this be, let's have it be a mini mode for that one hit, just for fun, right? So you can, each layer of a wave sequence can be a completely different plugin. It could be tuned to different notes. Some of these you hear this melody, dum ba da bum. That's because I transposed a couple up +2 and then the right next to it down 2, so you have a 9 and a major 7th in the melody. Maybe I want this one to be down. And I want it to be a different bass sound, so I could go looking through the low, go over here to basses. There. That's step 20 if you want to do the same thing. And the bass patch for step 20, I just set to saw bass. Nice. There. And if you wanted to use this somewhere else, just go over here to operations for that bass. That's right here, number 20, I said, right? So operations, copy plugin state. I think it's this one here. Yeah. So go over here and say operations paste. Oh, it didn't do it. Oh, maybe it did. It's just up octave. Yeah. There. So you can do all sorts of fun things with these remember, these are all just setup templates for you to play around with and do whatever you want with. So, but that's a whole bunch of SEM playing all at once. It sounds great. All right. So, good times, fun stuff. If you have questions, pop them into the chat, and I can happily answer questions as we're going along here with what we're doing. I'm not sure how much more there is to cover per se just with SEM. It's a great synth. It sounds great. This is one I do know that they collaborated with Tom. They have, I mean, it's got the logo of Oberheim in it, so you know that it's an approved, and they're doing this together, and yeah, it sounds great. Let's do just a quick spec rundown really quick, just for fun. People think that you need to be thorough and do that, so let's do that. So what makes SEM, SEM, and you can click down here in the corner to resize. So let me make sure that I have this so that it's easily viewable and in a good place, all that kind of stuff. Okay, there. There, so. So if you click init, right here in the top right corner, you have only oscillator 1, VCO1 as they call it, although it's not voltage controlled in a computer. Well, I guess it sort of is, so you can sort of get away with it. Anyway, your controls are over here for what the waveform is. It can be pulse, it can be sawtooth. If it's straight up on here, this is also the mixer section, which turns the sound to 0. So you get louder as you bring this down. Go the other way, and it's the pulse. And then you have pulse width. And then you can choose whether you want to have the pulse width controlled. They put the LFO rate over here, even though other LFO parameters, what waveform and stuff, is on the second page. Because they're thinking if you have this like this, you want to have access to this. Here. You can hit the flip if you just want to flip it back and forth. I don't know. It's so much easier for me just to have it like this so I can see everything that's there. Then here's for VCO2. And then VCO3 is right here. It could be noise, or it could be the waveform. And then you choose the shape for this here, including sine wave. 2 octaves. Then the filter. And they don't really have much routing as far as to like having oscillators skip the filter, that everybody goes through it. Resonance. want to engage the filter envelope, that is done right here where it says mod. And you can choose whether it would be LFO. VCO3, which means you can do some. That's how you can get some bacon frying frequencies. Or envelope 2, which is right here. And it's super snappy. Tuning does make a difference. The beating that you hear is because of detune. And you can get to be clinical if you want. Here how it becomes a lot more static. Now, if you're making basses, you don't want so much detune usually. You want it to be more solid like that. Maybe even bringing down the pulse width. Because this is putting this motion or no motion. So that's how you make different bass type sounds with this. And then over here are controls for aftertouch and for velocity. And it's an add. There's different ways that people and companies will do modulation. Some of them, like we do inside of Unify, where you set velocity where you want it to be the max. And then the cutoff velocity is going to play with that range up to the max parameter. Here it's different. Here it's, you set this and velocity is going to add value. As you can see, they show you here. And then if you want aftertouch, that's aftertouch right here. VCO 1, 2, 3 for aftertouch. Oh, aftertouch right here. They have velocity for different things, and then aftertouch amount to filter. And they have a green color for that. So you can look at this and kind of see quickly if it's being used. Let's see, did these guys light up? Yeah, they'll light up as well sometimes. Okay, so Arpeggiator I showed you has all sorts of different modes. If you go down here, you have the step sequencing. MIDI, I think, lets you load a MIDI file. I haven't used that. So I think this is to bring out the ARP as a MIDI file. I see. And then you have modes right here, which it will tell you in the title right here what your different sequence modes are. What's kind of cool is you could say sequence 1 and go mode to sequencer 2 and make it be different. Okay, so now you could actually assign this to a knob. And cycle between these. If you want to do that in Unify, here's how you would do it. You'd go to the knobs. and there's nothing assigned over here. So you go to linked parameters. Let's go to instrument, layer 1 SEM. Look for the arpeggiator mode. Let's see, where's it at? Somewhere in this list, we will find SEM master delay. ARP, here we go. ARP mode. And as you can see, it says in Unify what the parameter is. So I can say the lowest range is sequencer 1. And when I move this now, so I could say this is sequencer mode. And then what's fun with Unify is, of course, you could go over and you could combine stuff. So say that you like to filter and you want to have the filter tied to this too. Go over to the little bullet if you want and say copy. So I've copied this assignment. Go over here to the third page. Go to sequencer mode. And if you click the button here for adding, it now has added a thing said add link from clipboard, because in the clipboard is that assignment. So I can assign that. So now, then we play with SEM. I've got the filter EG doing some stuff. Yes. There. So you could assign all sorts of parameters. You could even go even more crazy. Let's say we get full range, and let's go back to the instrument to SEM, and you could go to something like maybe reverb or delay mix. Like let's say reverb mix, and play with it first on this so you can hear it. So you could do all sorts of fun stuff where one knob is changing all sorts of parameters. It's unlimited. We don't give you a limit. Most synthesizers give you a limit to how many things can be assigned here, but it's not limited. So you can keep adding to the list. You could change pitch. You could change oscillator tunings, do all sorts of things. So pretty powerful. So. Okay, so SEM, great, good job. It was really fun. They contacted us a while back. So, one thing else I should point out, we are using the VST3 version of SEM for this library. I apologize for it being a little confusing because we typically try to use the VST2 version, but in this case, the earliest things that they sent us were the audio unit and the VST3 to work with. I believe was how it's set up, so that we just couldn't use VST2 when we started to make. We've been working on the Unified library for a while, so we had to use the VST3, and that's where we are. It's cross-platform. It works. It's a good thing. But I've added a comment onto the link. I think I added one here. Let me make sure I added buy patches. Cherry Audio's Galactic Reverb. Oh, you know, I don't have, here, let's do this. You guys are coming along on a little a journey for a minute. I need to go to my box of drop and go to libraries and GForce SEM Unified. Now, this is using the VST3 I mentioned, so we'll put that into the comments. SEM Unified Library. Note, uses VST3 version of the plug-in. And there's the link. So it's a free download. I'll put it into our chat description as well. So yeah, it's possible that they didn't do the mod assignment stuff because SEM didn't have a modulation wheel. This is, you know, early days of synthesizers. This came out in 1974, I believe is when the SEM was released. And a couple years later, I think 78, they brought out the 8 voice. And by then, it was more standard that a modulation wheel, something to do pitch LFO things, was showing up on lots of things. So maybe that's how they did that. I don't know. It's a mystery, but that, you know, they're trying to be legit to how it works. All right. So moving on, I want to show you a company that I found out about this week that I really, really like. I've also got a couple of things to show you that we're working on. Something that should be out maybe next week. We're hoping to do that. It's a library for Diva. Super, super cool. I haven't released a library for just another plugin per se in a while. So we're starting to do that more. And I also have the next sample-based library, which is super, super cool to show you a little bit of. But I want to go over here. Let's go to Lo-Fi. Well, no, let's do this. Let's go to Cloud City. There's a company called Yum Audio that they've worked with Mr. Bill. A lot of you guys know him on YouTube. Producer, wonderful guy, really nice. I've never met him, I don't believe, but seems like a nice person, very helpful, always into trying to push sounds into new places. And he's released a plugin in conjunction with Yum Audio called Slap. And it can take a drum loop and totally repersonalize it with all sorts of characteristic attack. That's where things really stand out. So if we go down here to Yum Audio, here is Slap. And it's got a cool interface, and you can see there's like an attack transient, and it's taken this transient or whatever is in this window. Hear that? It's discerning where the peaks are. You have control of the gain, the timbre, the pitch. But check this out. So with, it's like you just gave everything this really, really cool attack transient shape, because that's what it did. So if you're in a mix, it can really be a noticeable thing. Let's go here and call up a BPM bass patch from Cloud City. So I'm going to go over here to Unify layer. Actually, let's go to MIDI box. I'm going to turn off note course. That way it doesn't change pitch when I play different notes. And let's add a dark, dirty sub. So this is without slap. Hear how it makes everything snap and stick out a lot better. And it's just turning it on. There's different patches because, as you can see, they've added a whole bunch of complementary effects. They have an effects amount here without. Sub. Right, there's squish, which will bring down the attack transient so it's not ripping your head off quite so hard. And tame. So it's got some cool parameters. From this to that. And if you remember was it a week or two ago, I showed you from Clevgrand. They have a similar effect, but it's very, very different when you really look at it. This is noise and a sub. So I can do similar things. You can't shape it quite in the same way, although the one thing I really do like is they do have the EQ control, so you can control the width. This is one thing I'd like to see them add to slaps, that if you wanted to only to hit just the stuff, you could actually find where the snare is and have this accentuate just the snare. You can't do that kind of stuff right now with slap. But it can do a whole lot more shifting and putting it just on a kick drum. Some of these are made just for kick drums and stuff, right? These are called kick, in fact. So breaks, let's go here, called breaks. Without, really nice. So let me show you their website. This is a small boutique company. They are not going for the ADSR $19 plugin prices, so be aware of that. They need to make a living, and so they realize these are unique, boutique, specialized, so they ask for what I would call a reasonable price for them, because it used to be effects were much more expensive. But yum-audio.com, and just like their plugins, there's really great style throughout the website and all the stuff that they do. So if we come over here to their products, I'm going to show you some other plugins that they have that are really cool. But Slap is the latest one that they've released. This shit slaps. So it's for doing really cool drum processing. The other plugins, they have a whole series of lo-fi that are really, really, really cool. So let me show you those. But yum-audio.com is their website. And let's do this. Let's call up one of the BPM splits from Cloud City, because it's kind of like a whole produced track. So let's go over here. I'm going to turn off my air conditioner for a minute. It's getting summertime warm here in Portland. So I think we can go. Is it box hop would be a, oh wait, I need to call up it. Let's go. Unify layer. Cloud hop. Let's slow it down. So one note, cool groove. So we're gonna go over here to the master effects, go over here to Yum. I mean, these are all so fun. Let me show you pitch dropout first. I really love this. You hear this a lot if you listen to any lo-fi, where the notes just kind of, they fall out of pitch. Just every now and then. And so this has an amount and frequency, and then it's got 6 different algorithms for the types of dropouts. You can even have it do it in mono and stereo. Less chance. So very, very fun. Just putting on an electric piano or something in a track, not the whole mix necessarily, but just to show you what it's doing. Isn't that cool? And then there's different presets for how to do it, stereo errors, shorts, all that kind of stuff. Love that. That's not easy to program outside of having a really cool effect that's doing it for you. I'll tell you right now, I've tried to do that. And you can do the fade and change it to pitch and sequencers and stuff like that. Flux Machine is kind of a whole transmogrifying of the track. You've got dark, saturation, you can mix it up, character machines, Old tape players. So for cool vibey things, we do have Chow Matrix, which is similar in nature, but I like to show everything these guys have because they're really, really cool plugins. Let's go to another one that's really fun to play with. Here's Playtime. Hey, so stereo play, all sorts of fun stuff here. Stereo. So it's pitch shifting forward and reverse. Old timer. Octave doubling. Chop things up into little beat pieces. Fun stuff. Just dig it. And then the last one that they have that's really fun is tape stop, which is, again, something you can do in your sequencer, but to do it in this way is kind of fun because you've got, I'll show you spread too, but this has a stop and a play button, and then you have a duration for how long it takes it to start back up and how long it takes it to stop. So and then you have start really quick. So you can have this automating while the sequence is playing, so that then you have different effects that you can add. So if you want the stop to be all of a sudden crunchy and gritty or something like that, you can do that. And they have different presets for how to do things for the timing and stuff. And then finally, they have one called stereo, which is really fun because it's actually 4 separate elements that you can control the panning with and stuff, which is really fun. So Yum Audio spread. From just nice stereo to super wide. Hear that? So each frequency range is given its own pan position. Crazy. And you can hear it as you pan it. Isn't that cool? So if you have a vocal or a special track that you need to be in a different stereo field, extremes. There's some that focus the bass. So if you want just the bass to be more mono and not stereo, you can do that as well. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm trying to just get up to date on the chat that's going on. Right, Sugar Bites, Tornado. Oh, cool. Okay, so those are fun effects that I thought were really cool. Slap is pretty fun for doing the transients onto drum grooves and synth parts, all sorts of things. It's actually interesting. If you take this, let's put snap on this, and you'll hear it's trying to figure out where the transients are. And sometimes you can get some really unexpected cool results from this. So call this up. Let's change to one of the other presets. Got some gating going on. So yeah, it's cool. You hear that? Wow. So if you need variations for a moment on a groove or something like that, this could be a fun place to look. Add some noise. Let's go over here to the beats. Over here, by the way, is where you have all the different noises. There's all sorts of, I believe it's some sort of a convolution reverb. So there's a ton. Different sounds. If you go tonal, thuddy, zaps, stereo extreme. Cool. So, fun stuff. So Yum Audio, check them out if you want some cool creative plugins like that. Okay, so there's a couple things in the works. I'm going to show you real briefly. Subsonic Arts is a library, a company by a friend of mine named Fred Nungat, and he lives in France, and he is part of the ESC, and he has been making libraries for a while, and he has taken 300 of his favorite patches from his various libraries and put them into a library for us to sell at the website in Unify format and Diva format. So and we still have to do the artwork and things like that. But these are using Diva. Really, really nice. There's these multis, which I'm not sure how they work yet because they're just a singles, but there's also a library coming soon, actually from the complete ESC team. So I hope to have this out in the next week or two. And shortly after that will probably be the ESC library. If you're familiar with Personal Flavors, it's a new version of Personal Flavors for Omnisphere. It's version 2 of it. So it's all new samples. But the vibe of these is great. This is a library called Diva Station. I have an early piece of artwork I created that might be what we go for. I really like this. Kind of that urban future kind of thing, stuff like that. So that's 2 libraries, but there's a third that I've been working on for a while now that I want to show you just a minute of. It's going to be called, I think, this is just tentative. It's got a ways to go. This is a new set of phrases. If you're familiar with, we did chill guitar phrases, right? This is 61 guitar phrases. They're organized over here in different tempos from 65 beats per minute to 128. So you could go 85 beats per minute, and it will load across the keyboard guitar loops. And they're at 85 beats per minute. So if your sequencer is at 85 beats per minute, Now you can have drums and sequence parts and everything, and it's synced up, right? Well, this new one takes this concept much farther. This is actually variations even on the phrases. Some have up to like 8 phrases. I don't know how to do this yet because it's a lot more data. So it's multiple gigabytes at this point. So it might just be a really big library. Like I love this one. And then you have the phrases. And it's synced up. So if I go Cloud City, if I go over here and say add Simple Street to this, no drums. Is it going to work? Oh, I'm at 85. Hold on one second here. Set this to 75. And that's the wrong groove. So we need to go like smooth. There we go. Go to United. Right. Oh, I need to use my right click on revert and get that back. That's why we have the undo, is when you accidentally click like that, you can right click on revert and your last 5 edits that you were doing, whether you realize it or not, when you change patches, we're saving so we can get it back. So. I want this to be set to Unify like this. You get the idea. So there's a ton of multiple phrases. So you have them all together. But the the creativity is great. Some even have bass. Just the melody. So it's like 160 loops. So it's much bigger. So you have all the elements. It's really fun. This will be fun with the straight time. So this will be available in different tempos. I have been exporting out all the samples. It's a huge mountains and mountains of work. Let's go to 100 beats per minute. I'm not sure if I'm going to give all the 7 different tempos because it's going to be like 6 gigabytes. This is 100 beats per minute. So some have multiple variations. Sounds nice. So you have all the elements. It's really, really fun. So that's one of the libraries I've been working on really hard for a follow-up to Chill Guitars, because a lot of you guys like the phrases and want things to build from. And so this library is perfect for this. And then good stuff. So yeah. Any questions? United we grow, exactly. Well, thank you for hanging. This library is going to be out probably August is what I'm aiming at. I've got August is just right around the corner, isn't it? Any release date? United's out now. You can pick up United from the website. It's available. All the proceeds go to Ukraine fund that I've been sending to the Red Cross. But this library is a work in progress. I got a bit more work to do to it. But the samples are done, which is the huge part that's taken a long time. Yes, this is only for Unify. Just like Chill Guitars phrases is also only for Unify with all of these. And I think the BPM drum grooves that are here will probably be included with the new library because they're here in work. Right? So the main thing you're getting is the guitar phrases and the vocals and the chords and the pads. I mean, there's so much. As you can see, actually right now I have it into 2 sets. It's actually going to be organized. There's 50 plus, I think 53 different grooves. Oh, is this the same set as one? Oh, I didn't play one. Then we have 100 beats per minute. So this has 4 or 5 different variations. Really cool stuff. So you have the full thing and breakdowns. So, huge amount of work. These guys, I believe they're in Germany. Sample Gods. Over a year ago, I bought the exclusive right to these samples. So, all sorts of stuff. Just tons of creative ideas that just turn into songs. Love it. And this one, actually, this has 127 samples. Every note across the entire keyboard. If I was to transpose this up 2 octaves, I believe you would find that there's even Yep. Just all sorts of beautiful stuff. Musicality is just wonderful. Yeah, the name's just a work in progress name. I'm thinking Universal Chill because I got to come up with a name because it's more than just guitars. It's not just chill guitar phrases like the first library. This has chords and basses and singing and unique instruments beyond just guitar, processed in cool ways. You know, I mean, they're dying for songs to be built around them. So there's all sorts of fun stuff. So all sorts of, can't wait. So that will be out August time, okay? Well, thank you all for joining. I think we'll call it a wrap here. Let's do our shout outs from wherever in the world you are. Stick a little shout out from where you are at if you want. I'll do a little shout out from Portland, Oregon. I can't believe my iPhone is still working. What's kind of cool with this, let's see if you ever go to OBS so I can see what I'm doing, is I can disconnect this. Let's see if I go like this and get that back like this and rotate this around. And then go turn back on Droid. There. Now you can see my messy studio. Yay. Here's Maxwell. He's dying for the next project we're going to get involved in. Over here is the Pro 1 from the Pro 1 library. I actually have a video I'm going to be doing in the next couple days where I'm going to make some of the patches for the Pro 1 in the video so you guys can see how to program an analog synth and what is the fun factor with going over here. Let's see, where is it? Patch Master. So when you call up these patches, say like Angry Alice. Oh, wait, I got to go over here to normal load. Angry Alice. And then you click this interface. That's the recipe to make the patch on an actual Pro 1. So I'll have my iPhone over here. By the way, this is a really cool app called Droid Cam that lets you do this. It lets it show up as an object inside of OBS that you can enable and add and turn on and all that kind of stuff. And let's see. Oh, there it is. I can see over there. You can't see this place, so it's not there. Uh-oh. I think I turned it off. Let's see here. Go turn it back on. Oh, my computer went to sleep, I think. So I'm not supposed to let it go to sleep. There. Is it back? On. There. Okay. Get back here. Don't touch anything. Don't break it. I'm so good at breaking things sometimes. All right. Well, thanks for joining. Let's see. Orlando. Yes, Maxwell is still here. Hello, Les in Poland, Netherlands, Finland. I can't believe all the people in Europe. Wow. Yes, you'll have the rights to use the loops for the Universal Library. Those are all commercial. You have the rights to use those in your productions. Yes. Great. Glad you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned a few things. Don't forget to try with the poly mono trick. Remember, there's a template under the standard library There's other templates there as well. Make sure you look at those to see how to do the different lit splits, velocity layers, MIDI channel templates if you want to use this in a sequencing environment. All sorts of helpful stuff there, hopefully for you guys to grasp and work with. So that's what they're there for. All right. Well, cheers to you all. Thanks for joining, and we will see you in the next live stream. Okay? Bye, everybody.